Hello friends, welcome back to Get Ready with America. I'm SJ, and I know I said I'd have a fun video last week, but I had a bit of a hiccup on that one that I'll explain next week. Also, I moved, so that was distracting. But I wanted to circle back one more time to New York City to help answer a few questions like, what the hell is going on there? Why did they go through all the rankings but were waiting to call a winner? What were those extra votes? I'll try to get some satisfying answers, but democracy is not always satisfying, especially when the Supreme Court rules in favor of restrictive voting laws. For today's look, I'm honestly too tired from moving to come up with a clever theme, so we're just doing one of my go-to looks with what you could consider my top-ranked products. Let's get into it. When I last talked to you on June 24th, I shared the unofficial election night results, which had Brooklyn Borough President Eric Adams in the lead with 31.7% of the vote, Attorney Maya Wiley in second with 22.2%, and former Sanitation Department Commissioner Catherine Garcia in third with 19.5%. As per the rules established with the city's new ranked choice voting process, since no candidate reached 50% of the vote in an initial count, additional rounds of counting were to take place on June 29th, which was the deadline for mail-in ballots to be received at the Board of Elections to be eligible for counting. I didn't share that last piece in my touch-up video because, frankly, it didn't occur to me until 2 days later, but that's why they waited a week to do all of the ranking rounds. At the end of 9 rounds of counting, Adams is still in the lead with 51.1% of the vote, and Garcia is in second place with 48.9%. She barely edged out Wiley in round 8 with a 0.1% advantage or 347 votes to make it to the final round. I'm not going to go into vote tally analysis here too much, but I did want to share this interesting graph from my friends John and Sam, who do really incredible political data analysis that shows how many votes each candidate gained as they progressed through the rounds. Look at that nice spike for Garcia. However, she still trails Adams by 14,755 votes. So you're probably wondering, why haven't they just called it for Adams? Seems like he won, no? Not officially yet. See, the New York City Board of Elections hasn't quite finished counting those absentee ballots that were accepted until the 29th. Additionally, we're also in the middle of a process for absentee voters whose signature on their ballot was missing or didn't match the signature on file to correct the problem called ballot curing. This process is one that most states have, where voters are able to find out if there was a problem with their ballot and then are given an opportunity to fix it in a certain time frame so that their vote is counted. The thing with ballot curing in general is most of the time the Board of Elections isn't going to notify someone if there's an issue with their ballot. They just won't count it after the deadline has passed. If your state has a ballot tracking system for voters, which most do these days, then you'll be able to find out if your ballot was received and rejected, so you can take care of it. More often, organizations and individual campaigns get records of ballots that are rejected so they can reach out to voters and give them the steps to fix it. Ballot curing in New York City ends this Friday, June 9th. The last pile of ballots that are still being counted are the provisional ballots cast at polling locations that were deemed eligible when it was proved a voter had not voted some other way. In case I haven't talked about this before, someone will cast a provisional ballot if they received an absentee ballot and did not surrender it in order to vote in person, or if someone goes to a polling location where they are not on the rolls but should be eligible to vote. One of the sneaky voter suppression tactics is changing voting locations for election districts with little notice so people don't go to the correct location and have to vote provisionally, which has a likelier chance of getting the vote thrown out. Okay, so yeah, Adams is winning by 14,000 votes. Are there really enough uncounted votes in there to close that gap? Oh yes. Yes, there are. According to the Board of Elections, over 220,000 voters requested absentee ballots and only 82,000 had been returned by the day before the election, leaving 138,000 outstanding ballots. Now, let's compare the number of first round votes counted on June 22nd, election night, and on June 29th. That right there is a difference of 19,787 ballots. That leaves potentially up to 118,221 ballots, plus the provisional ballots that could turn this whole thing on its head. The New York Times is throwing out there that 125,000 absentee ballots are going to decide the race, but they don't say where they got that number, so I'm not entirely sure where that's coming from. The point is, yes, there are enough votes still out there that could pull for Garcia or even Wiley that can change this election, especially due to two factors. Adams's votes were primarily coming in person voting, and Garcia has the strongest support in Manhattan, which had the most absentee ballots. There is one more progress report coming out today, the 6th, prior to the final certified results being announced next week, and I bet they will come out while I'm still preparing this video, so I'll cut to future me to talk about them. Yeah, hi, Future SJ here. They of course have not put up a new tally by 5 p.m., even though they said they'd have something around 2 p.m. But the Board of Elections did announce that they will have the vote certified by July 14th. There are about 3,700 ballots that can be cured. So if you know someone who voted absentee or you voted absentee yourself, you should have them check out if they need to have their ballot cured on the New York Board of Elections website. Back to past May. Okay, sure, but what was that thing about the extra ballots getting counted? Oh boy. In an initial vote tally released on the 29th, the Board of Elections had included 135,000 votes that were actually test ballots and not actual votes. This is where I have questions. How? Why that many? Are we firing anyone? For some reason, people took this opportunity to say that ranked choice voting is obviously bad if this can happen, which is an asinine connection. Oh wait, right. I forgot that we're in idiotic times where a misstep means the whole thing is the problem. This was actually just human error, which the New York City Board of Elections is historically prone to. Ranked choice voting is used statewide in Maine and used in certain local elections in 9 other states, and it's highly successful. Accidentally keeping test ballots in with your actual ballot total could happen with any process of voting if you're testing new counting software. Anyway, in this case, hate the player, not the game. Here's some more info from John and Sam about the fake vote breakdown for you fellow data nerds out there. This is all well and fine, but why did they even do the counting on the 29th if it wasn't going to be the final count? Oh, I don't know. Because you people need answers right away? Other countries wait weeks to get any type of results, and that's perfectly normal. But we need info now. I voted this morning, and I need to know what that means tonight. No, you don't, Susan. You can wait. The Board of Elections has been collecting ballots for about a month between early voting, election day voting, and absentee ballots. And if you think about it, it's a crazy concept to expect them to have the correct results at the end of the night. That's like expecting a professor of a 100-student lecture course to have their final research papers graded the day after they were due. That's impossible, and why they're given a couple weeks to submit final grades for students. Maybe if we gave democracy a little more breathing room, then people wouldn't erroneously add 135,000 fake votes to the results. Did I cover all of your questions? Great. If not, leave them in the comments below and I'll find answers. I'm not even going to ask if I answered your questions to your liking because that's probably a no. Thank you so much for indulging me one last time on this silly city's election. And if you want to check out the numbers from each round of counting, I've linked the Board of Elections' unofficial ranked choice voting results for all of the races citywide in the description box. As I mentioned at the top, next week will actually be the fun thing I've teased a few times, so join me on Monday for that. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more about voting in other states. If you're enjoying this series and want to throw me some major support, please check out my Patreon in the description box. Your small monthly contribution will help pay for the several online newspaper subscriptions I got to do proper research for these videos. And maybe one day I can get that graphic artist for my thumbnails. I'll see you next week.